Flawless editing skills right there, Sean, to get us into a new week, our second week here at Moneyline Madmen. Our first week probably wasn't our best week. Well, it better not be. Otherwise, our number count for subscribers that you see on the bottom down there, go ahead and hit that button and the bell so that when we get started, you get dinged, you know we're here. Well, we may not be perfect, but our goal is to make sure we're at least prepared. Would you say that's fair, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said before, just listen, we'll have facts behind it and everything else, and we'll gear you in the right direction, whether we're giving out the right picks or you can take what we're talking about, other games that we're not making the picks. Sometimes we do better on the ones that we're not actually playing.
Picking, yeah.
Just, saying we'll lean that way. It was just outside. Those are the ones, it's like everything else, you have 5 games and you pick the one
you win 4 and the one you pick. Yeah, I've been down the road way too many times for sure. Yeah, you're putting too much emphasis on one thing. You know what? It reminds me of a really, really good friend of mine growing up named Paul, who now I think lives in the Woodlands, Texas, was an incredible basketball player. Just a skinny guy, about 6'1", fast as a water bug, can shoot. I mean, when they first put in the 3-point line, he called me up. He's like, Rich, this 3-point line's a joke. It's a layup. I said, Paul, man, you're just talking too much, bro. He said, no, $100, bring it. Meet me at the gym. We're going to put it on the line. I'll make 15 out of 20. I said, no way. He made 20 of 20. I lost my 100. Long story short, he told me just because it didn't go in doesn't mean it was a good shot. And just because it went in doesn't mean it was a good shot. So if you take a good shot and it didn't go in, that's the game, right? So if you take a good shot and it didn't go in, that's the game. Sometimes you take a bad shot and it goes in, you're not going to make that shot more often than not, but you are going to make good shots more frequently than you miss them. So we're going to try to take good shots by making sure that by being prepared and understanding what it is we're doing and why we're doing it doesn't necessarily mean the ball is going to go in the basket.
Yeah, exactly. And right now too, we're in the middle of baseball season. They're going to the All-Star break and stuff. Sometimes, they're in flows too. It's hard to get a handle. As the season goes on, we'll get a better handle, and then we'll have football, and then later on in the year again basketball will be starting.
It's just a cycle, baby. It's the seasons. It's like life is a circle. You wake up in the bed, you go back into bed, you start and end your day in the same place, and it's just a series of different size circles. Eventually you wake up where you came from, right? And that's it. Then it's a wrap, baby.
Yep, like a cycle. I go back to my real job tomorrow after having 4 or 5 days off, and
nobody wants to do that.
No, but I will be there.
Yes, unfortunately. Well, another place that we're going to be, maybe fortunately or unfortunately, is looking at this NHL game between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens. It's win or go home for the Montreal Canadiens. I know I said last week that I was going to play this part where I was going to bet Montreal because they're going to be a plus line no matter what. And if they lost the first one, I'd follow it up the second time. You asked me about whether I was going to do that or not. And my first reaction was no. But
changed your mind?
Well, I went back and looked at the history of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. And going back to 1960, I didn't go past 1960. And the game's probably a lot different today. It is a lot different than it was back then. You think about the Broad Street Bullies and all the knuckles and, like the Hanson brothers putting aluminum foil on their fists in the movie Slap Shot. I can't repeat what they said here. That's only for horse racing shows. But they put aluminum foils on their knuckles, and the coach is like, "What are you doing, Paul Newman?" And they're like, "Old-time hockey coach, bleeping Eddie Shore or whatever." So it was, for fighting. That part of the game is really much different now than it was back then. But nonetheless, a little bit of a hockey tangent movie there. But going back to 1960, 60 different Stanley Cup Finals, 14 of them were sweeps. However, there hasn't been a sweep since 1998. So there almost appears in modern hockey that there's a gentleman's agreement for a team not to get sweep. Not that it can't happen, but it hasn't happened in the last 22 years. So I think there's a good shot that it's not going to happen again. Statistically, it shouldn't happen. And if it does, there's only a 25% chance going back to 1960 that it will happen. It's a 50-50 game, according to statistics. I was through that on the last show. Tampa Bay's only won. They've won 4 games in a row now. Only once, I think, no, twice before in the season, they won 5 in a row. So 5-game winning streaks aren't that common. And then Montreal has only lost 4 in a row twice. And even that's considering at the beginning of the year when they were really mucking it up and not playing good hockey. They haven't lost 4 in a row in, I think, over a month. I think you're going to find Montreal is inspired. No team wants to be embarrassed, particularly on their home ice. Tampa Bay, yeah, they know they got 3 games left to win. If they get down early, winning the Stanley Cup at home has a much different feel than it does winning on the road. A lot of statistics say odds are Montreal gets at least 1 game. They're getting plus 143. I'm going to take it.
Yeah, the last part one of the last parts you said was the interesting part. I saw it today was, does Tampa Bay really want to win tonight? And they're athletes. They're going to want to win. They're competitors. But it is interesting if they lose tonight, they go at home, and they know they can win at home. They've dominated this team all series long. So that would be one reason I would stay away from Tampa Bay. However, I do not trust Montreal at all. Just being outplayed all the way around. Yeah,
the eye test certainly says, Rich, you're an idiot. And it's not just the eye test. It's most of the people around me sometimes too. But
the other thing is trying to get in a team's head and go, oh, well, they're not going to try tonight. They'll go, that never works out for the better ever.
Yeah, I don't.
They're not going to be out there just going, oh, let's get to game 5.
No, I don't think. I think if you're Tampa, you want to end the season, right? If you can, because you don't want your knee blown out. You don't want a puck to, you want more dental work, or anything along those lines. So I do agree. If they get up 1-0 or 2-0, then there's a chance Tampa Bay says, all right, we'll blow you out next game at home. Well, then we might go back to like the 1970s hockey with the aluminum foil on the. Let's have that sort of entertainment for the TV watcher. Went to a hockey Stanley Cup Finals game and went to the fights and then the hockey game broke. However that thing goes. Anyway, I am going to take Montreal. I'm going to live up to my word because that's what I do. And Montreal plus 143. I think it's a wise bet.
Yeah, and I mean that's the wise thing to do as a bettor. That this was your strategy from the beginning. So stick to your guns, and because if you don't stick to your guns, darn well Montreal will win the game, and you'll regret
easy,
that.
Easy.
Yeah,
like 5-0 at the end of the first, and you'll just be like swearing to yourself. It just how that goes. And sometimes I don't just swear to myself. I think I am, but I'm not. Anyway, it's a little bit of a inside the lines, I guess. Story there we'll get into another day. Major League Baseball heading, like you said, to the All-Star break July 5th after the July 4th fireworks, so to speak. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. I think I probably counted wrong, but making no true on that idiot comment earlier.
You got 11. That's right.
11. All right, I got something right today. Well, we'll leave it at that then. So we'll start off in San Francisco between the Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals. This guy Gausman's been a heck of a pitcher for the San Francisco Giant team this year.
Yeah, I like San Francisco here. I'm not going to make an official play, but if you're doing some kind of parlay or something, I would throw San Francisco on there. I think they're definitely going to win. I did look at the Gausman over-under strikeouts too, but St. Louis is pretty good at making contact, so I passed on that.
All right, yeah. I don't have any play in there either. I mean, the line's too big to take San Francisco, and I think the money line, the run line for that game was even negative too. Yeah, it's minus 103, maybe plus 100, but I don't know. It's tough to say. I didn't like it, so I didn't play it either.
The other thing I looked at was the team total for St. Louis because they haven't been playing good offensively, and Gausman's been pretty good, and he's been good at home as well. He's only had like 4 or 5 starts, but he's been pretty good at home. But it's at 3, which is one of those, just one bad inning, 1 or 2, I couldn't trust it.
Yeah, what's worse about that is the guy gets out there, walks a guy or walks a couple of guys. He's given up maybe 2 runs through 6, and then the relief pitcher comes in and gives up a home run, and he gets those 2 runs too, and you're like, damn, I hate that.
Yeah, I would have thought about it maybe if it was 3.5. That way, if they do get to 3, you still win. But at 3, you're just in a draw. I passed on it.
All right. And now we also have the next game is the we know who they are Dodgers against Miami Marlins. This kid Rogers is a heck of a pitcher too for Miami.
Yeah, and the Dodgers don't do that great against left-handers. However, they are playing great. The one concern I have with the Dodgers, and I actually had it yesterday, was they played late Saturday night, and then they played at 11 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So I thought they might be, vulnerable there, and they still ended up winning. Now they play this odd, 6:30 game? Uh-huh. So another odd time. But if I were to pick, I would lean towards the Dodgers here.
Well, right now the Dodgers are taking in about 70 cents out of every dollar bet on the game. But the sharp money, or the total amount of money bet, is closer to 50-50 split. So looks like the sharp money people think that the Marlins might actually be the play here with that young, strong left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, Marlins are 17-33 as an underdog. Dodgers are 53-27 as the favorite. So
yeah, no, I can't take that game either. Walker Buehler is not a bad pitcher either.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Braves, every time I bet on them, they lose. Every time I bet against them or I don't bet them, they win. They're playing Pittsburgh today. They should win. 80, almost 90 cents out of every dollar is on the Braves. A little bit more than that in terms of dollar amount is on the Braves. It looks to me like the bettors think the Braves are going to win. The sharp people think the Braves are going to win. I think the Braves are going to win, but I'm not going to play them.
Okay, so this is one of my official plays. I'm going to take the Braves, giving up a 1.5 to Pittsburgh. They're minus 118. Pittsburgh's just not scoring at all. Even yesterday, they finally won a game, and it was 2-0. I think the Brewers just kind of
took the day off.
Yeah, they've been exploding lately, and finally they just had a little
too much celebration the night before.
The Pirates have scored horrible the last 10 games. They might have scored like 14 or 15 runs. It's not good. The Braves are starting to roll, like we said, and then Max Fried is starting to really pitch really well too.
I call him Max Fried, yes, Max Fried. So Max Fried is starting to roll. Yeah, you're right. Early on in the year, he struggled a little bit, but I think in the last month or so, he's only given up, I think, more than one run, maybe 2-3 games. That's just from recollection upstairs. I probably am wrong. If you fact check me, I'm admitting that I don't know for sure, but I know it's not that many. He definitely struggled at the start of the year, but he has gotten much better as the year has gone on. I don't have any play in that game either.
Yeah, and then in Pittsburgh, when they are losing too, they're always losing by more than one run. So
yeah, the one run, when they lose.
The one run shouldn't come into play.
But you're still taking a negative line, and I don't like taking run lines and negative lines. It's one of my commandments. Thou shalt not take a negative run line. The Cleveland Indians visiting the Tampa Bay Rays. That's probably a team, even though no one shows up to watch them play, probably happy to be getting home.
Yeah, and Cleveland does not. The pitching matchup really favors Tampa Bay here. This is another one. The odds are too low, too high, whatever you want to say. The money line's what, like minus 200. So
minus 188, yeah, for the Rays. Yeah.
So
plus 170.
Came down a little bit, but Cleveland's 2-8 in their last 10. Not good. This is actually one, again, I'll use Tampa Bay in a parlay unofficially on my personal accounts. I'll throw Tampa Bay in, but I will not make an official play.
Yeah, I'm not on that game either. I do think it favors Tampa Bay, but Rich Hill, man, that dude's been in baseball almost as long as I've been alive. I'm 54. He can't probably throw past 54 miles an hour, and yet somehow he still gets people out. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, and his ERA is not bad. His record's not bad. He's pitching pretty well this year.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good for sure. Brewers versus the Mets. This is a pretty good matchup. The Brewers are the favorite on the road, but the Mets actually, I think, have the best home pitching in all of baseball, and I think the Brewers might have the first or second best pitching by WAR in for the road. So I expect this to be a low-scoring game. So it means you can lock in the over.
Yeah, no, I would think the under might be a good play. I think it's 7.5.
Let's see, the total in this game is where are they at? Yeah, 7.5. I think this with the pitching matchup.
Yeah, Brandon Woodruff is really good for Milwaukee. This guy, Taylor Mitchell for the Mets. He doesn't have many games in, but he's been pitching okay.
Mm-hmm. And the Mets just tend to pitch pretty much better at home, so it's a good thing there. I don't have anything on the game, but I do think if I were going to play that game, I'd probably look to play the under.
Yeah, that's the only thing I looked at. I couldn't trust either way. I don't trust the Mets beating a hot Milwaukee team, but then after Milwaukee lost yesterday too, maybe baseball.
Well, that's a team they'll be happy to get home to, right? After you spend a weekend in Pittsburgh, you want to get home for sure.
Yeah, so We'll see. I would bet the under if you're going to do it.
Well, then again, they're going to Milwaukee, so I probably would rather stay in Pittsburgh.
Well, they're actually in New York.
Oh, they're in New York. Well, yeah, Pittsburgh or New York. What the heck? I would rather be in New York by far. Yeah. Well, except maybe in the summertime. The trash out on the street, that doesn't smell very well. Have you ever been to New York City?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, when they put that the trash out on the street thing doesn't. Yeah, it's not. Well, oddly though, I live in Chicago. We have more rats than they do, and yet we have an alley system and garbage cans. I don't understand. There's like 10 rats for every person in Chicago. Must be some symbolism for the politics here.
There you go.
All right, so the next game is the White Sox versus the Minnesota Twins. The White Sox are the road favorite, -124. The line opened up at -118, so a little bit of money flowing the White Sox way. Twins went from 50-50 plus 100 to plus 110. Right now, about 68 cents out of every 68 out of every 100 bets is on White Sox, but only about 56 cents.
Yeah, I don't trust either team here. If I had to lean one way, I'd lean the White Sox. Twins are just not playing good. And actually, they've always kind of been overvalued this year. I think Vegas keeps thinking they're going to
go back to last year, yeah.
Yeah, turn it around, and they're just not. And then the pitching matchup also favors Minnesota really here with Cease going over Uber for Minnesota, so...
Being from Chicago, I mean, in Chicago, you can't be a White Sox fan and a Cubs fan. I don't know. Maybe it's new for millennials and younger. I'm not sure, but Gen Zers. But anybody who's like Gen X and up, that's another commandment. Thou shalt not like the Cubs and the White Sox, one or the other. I had a White Sox friend tell me one time the White Sox lost, and so did the Cubs. He didn't mention that the White Sox lost. He said, "Oh, the Cubs lost, so it's a good day." But in any case, that's how it used to be. Twins seem to, since I've been here, have the White Sox number more often than not. So I think that's one of those series where you throw out records and all that kind of stuff. The two teams maybe don't like each other.
This is an interesting stat, too. As bad as Minnesota's been, and this kind of goes to what I just said, they're 12-22 as an underdog. So they've only been the underdog 34 times. This will be the 35th time this year they're the underdog.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah, as bad as they are. I mean, a lot of teams that have the record they do have been the underdog 50, 60 games this year already. And this is their 35th.
35th. So here's my other Chicago team. Oh, no, I'm not going to Chicago just yet. We're going to go to Texas. The Detroit Tigers versus the Texas Rangers. This is a game that has one of the biggest splits in terms of how the money is, the percent of tickets, and how the money's been bet. They split about 40-60, about 40% of the tickets are on the Tigers, 60% of the tickets on the Rangers, but almost a little more than 80 cents out of every dollar has been bet on the Rangers. And I'm going to add some dollars to that because I'm taking the Texas Rangers as one of my plays. Detroit is 17-24 on the road. Texas is a little bit, I think, one game under 500. I expect this to be a game that ends up in the bullpens because neither pitcher is really all that good. A slight advantage to Texas on the bullpen. The pitcher, though, Willie Peralta for Detroit has pitched way over his career numbers to start this season. He's due for some regression to get back to who he really is, to become the Dennis Green of pitchers. So this year, for example, his ERA is 3.21. His career ERA, and I don't know, 10 years or however many years the guy's pitched is 4.49. So he's pitching. He's either gotten much better or he's due to blow up. And I'm going to go for he's due to blow up because we have enough of a sample size. I'm going to go ahead and bet the money line on the Texas Rangers and join the lopsided pool as it is right now.
So Peralta's only pitched 14 innings this year, so it's a small sample size for this year. So he definitely has a chance to just go out and blow up tonight. And Texas scores a lot of them. My one concern with Texas would be as a favorite, they are 4-7 as a favorite.
Well, they're like the Minnesota Twins on the other side. They're never a favorite. So
yeah, they are. So they don't know how to act when they are. So that'll be tested tonight.
If they don't know how to behave, let them out, and they don't know how to behave. Cubbies, my other Chicago home team. Again, you can only be one or the other. So I'm a Cubs fan. Been my whole life. It's great that they won a World Series while I'm alive because there's been probably millions and millions, maybe billions of Cubs fans who lived and died in that 108 years between championships. But at least I was alive for that. I guess it'll be another 100 years or so before we see it again. Phillies, Cubs. The Cubs right now are taking about 70% of the action and about 90 cents out of every dollar of betting. This is my second play for the day. I'm going to take the Cubs, who are 1-9 in their last 10 games, and I'm going to run line them. This is my run line game of the day, my plus line of the day. Cubs are a much different baseball team at home. 26-13. Philadelphia is 15-26 on the road. Neither pitcher is fantastic, so I expect some runs. It's like 90 degrees here in Chicago. If you're a Chicagoan and a Cubs fan, you know when the temperature's high, the ball flies. I expect a lot of runs to be scored tonight at Wrigley Field. I think the over is potentially a play there on the total, but I'm going to go with the Cubs because they have the number 2 bullpen by ERA, and Philadelphia has one of the best bullpens, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Philly's bullpen stinks. They're like number 25.
Yeah. Yeah, the Phillies are struggling. Cubs are struggling. Phillies are starting to play a little bit better besides their 11-1 loss yesterday. But, yes, that bullpen is pathetic. And if it does get into the bullpen, the Cubs are definitely going to win. I actually used the player prop here. I haven't broke out my player props yet, but Zach Davies over 3.5 strikeouts. Philadelphia is 24th in the league in strikeouts per 9, having 9.48.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zach Davies has been over 3.5, 5 out of his last 6 games. So,
all right. So Zach Davies is a player prop for you.
Yeah, it's not hard to get the 4 strikeouts as long as he can go even if he only goes 4 innings, one strikeout each inning, and the Phillies tend to strike out at least once every inning. So
maybe he'll strike out the side to start the first inning.
This is a plus line too. It's plus 105. Actually, I think I might have found it on FanDuel at plus 118. DraftKings it's plus 105. So.
And the Cubs are on the run line. They're plus 124. So it's a decent plus line. I do think there'll be a lot of runs scored today. And I think the difference is going to be that the Cubs bullpen is considerably better than the Philadelphia bullpen. Both pitchers, I think, will be out of the game, maybe 5th or 6th inning. I'm hoping that the Philadelphia pitcher's out of the game by the 2nd or 3rd inning. And I'm just sitting there like this. Yes, Cubbies, yes. My money.
Well, this is that Matt Moore that you almost got stuck with when you bet on the Phillies last week. So, and they switched to him, and then the game got canceled anyway.
Yeah, he's 0-2 against the Cubs, 9 runs in 15 innings. So he's not done a good job of holding the Cubs back. And now we're going to go to Cincinnati and Kansas City. I don't have any action here, but as it stands now, the number of tickets heavily favors the Reds, but the money heavily favors. It's the biggest differential on the board tonight. The money totally favors almost $2 to 1 for the Royals over the Reds.
Yeah, this was a hard one. I don't trust either team. But if I had to lean, Mike Minor's not got a great ERA this year, but he's not a bad pitcher at all. The Reds got Vladimir Gutierrez, who's been average at best. So this would be a game that Kansas City could win. I don't trust either, though, to actually make a play.
All right, me either. Boston Red Sox, Los Angeles Angels. Boston is one of the best teams in the league on the road. The Angels, though, are starting to play a lot better. You're getting a plus line on the Angels. I went through this game, and, if there's a game tonight where you want to take a home team with a plus line, this would probably be the one that I would circle.
Yeah, it's possible, but Boston is playing really good, winning 9 out of 10, and I also looked at the over-under, and the over-under is like really high, like 11, but both offenses are starting to play really well too. So
yeah,
I couldn't really find anywhere to go there neither, because if I had to go one way, I'd probably go the over, but that's a lot of runs too.
It's a lot of runs. Yeah. I like I said, the Angels are just playing a lot better at home. I think they're winning over 50% of their games. And I know like the Boston's winning like 65% of their games on the road, some stupid number, but that's not going to stay. No team's going to win 65% of their games on the road. Again, it's not a game I'm playing, but if there was a home plus line that you're getting on the money lines, it's just got to win by 1 run. The one that I would flirt with tonight would be the Angels, maybe the Twins, but I feel like the Angels are a little bit better play there. And then finally, we have the Washington Nationals visiting San Diego. Got a huge minus line for San Diego. They're a huge home favorite, minus 250. Minus 250, and then on the run line is going to be a negative number, so it violates all my rules around. I don't even need to look at that game to know that I ain't playing it.
Yeah, actually, it took a while for Washington to name their starter. It's going to be John Lester, but I saw it earlier before the starter was like minus 220, so Now they say John Lester's starting, and it even
should go to minus 400 now.
Yeah, so
because he's usually good in the early part of the year, and usually this time of the year he gets hit hard. He was here with the Cubs for a lot of years, and it's like he's either really good, which is like 1 out of 4 games, or he's really bad. When he was younger, he was a stud. Yeah. But now that he's gotten older, he's relying more on location and versus velocity. And, once you become a location pitcher that throws batting practice speed, when that ball's over the middle of the plate and it ain't moving a lot, it gets hit hard.
Yeah, I don't trust either way. I mean, Joe Musgrove is doing really well, ERA 2.63. And San Diego, they're getting healthy and playing really well too. But
so no plays there.
Yeah.
All right. So for me tonight, I'm taking the Canadians because I'm nuts. I am taking the Texas Rangers on the money line, and I'm taking the Chicago Cubs minus 1.5 runs. So I'm run lining the Cubs. And who are you going with, Sean?
I am going with the Atlanta Braves giving up a 1.5, minus 118 at Pittsburgh. And then I'm doing a player prop. Zach Davies over 3.5 strikeouts against the Phillies at plus 105.
All right, there you have it. Good luck with your bets tonight. Sean, if the people want to find us online, Twitter, Facebook, and any other social stuff, soon we'll get you on TikTok dancing to make the picks.
No, not gonna happen. Facebook and Twitter, Moneyline Madmen, and then if you're watching now or if you're watching on Facebook, go to YouTube as well. Just search Moneyline Madmen and subscribe.
So, what would it take to get them to dance you with tools on TikTok?
Nobody has mentioned the price yet, so we're gonna.
So that would be an indecent proposal type thing for you?
Yeah, no.
No. All right. Anyway. All right, folks. Good luck with your bets. Till tomorrow. We hope that you cash. That you cash them all. That's kind of the goal here. Well, it's to be, it's to be prepared, not to be perfect. So we certainly wish you cash all your tickets. May they all be winners. Until tomorrow. Good luck with your bets.